All right, Shalom Akim. Peace and blessings to Israel, to the 12 tribes of Israel, to the 144,000 elect men. All right, I want to give all praises to Yahweh in the name of Yahushai. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. All right, I'm going to be going into the heathenistic ways, the heathenistic religions. Over here on my computer, I have what happened to Nimrod's Babylon. All right, I'm gonna tie it up at the end, and I'm gonna pull up some scriptures at the end. So it says, what happened to Nimrod's Babylon? And this is on the mysterybabylon.org. It says, the religion pushed by Cush and Nimrod marked the beginning of pagan polytheism. In the post-flood world, the worship of many gods, the snake, the sun, the fire, became their symbols of the pagan god on earth. Human sacrifice became openly practiced. All right. Even though God wanted his people to spread out and only serve him, speaking about Yahweh, Nimrod, through this empire and the religion of Babylon, began to unite the people, all under his one world government. All right. And that's what we see in this current world, Great Babylon, Mystery Babylon, the Great. All right, this is speaking about the Americas. All right, America is Babylon the Great, Baba meaning confusion. All right, so Babylon the Great is this great confusion here in this land, man. All right, people think that they're from Africa. All right, people are happy to be descendants of the Spanish, descendants of the whites, the Caucasian people. All right, and the Most High wanted us to follow him. And that's always how it's been. We've always supposed to be following the Most High, not caring about what anybody else was doing, not bothering about whatever they were practicing or looking at what they were doing and seeing them flourish and being jealous of them. We were supposed to keep it 100 with the Most High, all right? So it said that Babylon began to unite the people all under his one world government, all right? And that's what's going to happen here when people are going to be united in the one world government, and the people that are following Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, they're going to be persecuted, man. They're going to be, try to be taken out because they're not following with the world order, all right? It says, as a result, this early Babylonian religion began to be abhorred by pious, God-following generations of their era. One of them, Noah's son Shem, which the Israelites came from, decided to do something about it. All right. According to the tradition, Shem gathered 72 co-conspirators to help him, and some made their way up to the palace where Nimrod lived. After catching him in a double cross, Shem killed Nimrod, all right, and cut his body into little pieces. He alerted his co-conspirators, each one of them to take a piece of Nimrod's body and distribute it to the cities under his rule. They did as they were told, but all this gore had a purpose, however, to show the world proof positively that Nimrod wasn't a god. All right, and in the scriptures it even says, are you gonna call yourself a god? All right, whenever they're slaying you. All right, speaking to Esau, is he gonna call himself a god like he calls himself a god now? Whenever he's being slayed, all right, whenever he's being killed off, is he gonna tell them that he's a god? All right, it says it was Shem's warning to all Nimrod's new followers: stop what they were doing and start obeying the Most High, or else. Nimrod's followers did become very frightened. They worshipped him as a god of whom they thought would live forever. All right, it is foolish to call yourself a god, man. All right, to call yourself to be the Most High, to call yourself to be anything against the Most High, to be calling yourself more or even equal to the Most High, man, if you're doing all this wickedness, all right? Now he was dead. The validity of their newfound religion was in question. Cush, his father, was already shamed for his previous actions at the tower. He wasn't really able to unite the people unless under these systems as Nimrod did. This whole ability to control the populace had to go a little less out in the open. All right. It says the way they maintained their power would be accomplished in part by another up and coming character, a woman. All right. It says rarely known by her proper name, Semiramis was to be exalted into one of the most famous women since the flood. She was Cush's wife. All right. She was the wife of Cush, the father of Nimrod, at the time of the tower, and also mother of Nimrod. After Cush was disgraced, subtle Semiramis didn't want to go down with him, so to maintain her reputation, she did the unthinkable. She married her own son. All right, so Nimrod married his mother, Semiramis, in order for her to maintain power, because she was power hungry. All right. It says, by marrying Nimrod, Semiramis could still maintain somewhat of an authority over the populace, as long as her husband remained in charge. Once Nimrod was murdered, however, Semiramis was again in danger of losing all that she had. All right. It just happened that right around this time, Semiramis was pregnant. The father supposedly unknown. All right. But Semiramis was married to Nimrod, her son, which Nimrod planted his seed in Semiramis, his mother, which is wickedness, man. All right. That's disgusting. It's dirty. All right. And she was pregnant. All right. And it says the father supposedly unknown, but we know that it's Nimrod. Yet this was her golden opportunity to capitalize on those looking for answers. All right. It says we will see that from Cain, seed of the serpent, there was a famous prophecy given by the Most High to Adam and Eve. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between the serpent's head, seed, and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. All right. And this is speaking about Yahushua. All right. But then it reads on, it says this prophecy was also well known to the people of Noah's post-flood era. All right. So people knew about this prophecy, man. All these prophecies that all the prophets spoke about, which prophecy or prophesy or to prophesy means to say before. All right. So this prophecy was well known to the people of Noah's post-flood era. All right. They knew there was a Messiah coming. All right. And that's what we're going to be getting into. It stated simply that one day a Savior would be born, a Savior who would arise from the seed of Eve, which really seed going back to sperm, which sperm is only from the man. All right. But this Savior would bruise the head of the serpent and his seed. In order to save humanity from their worldly sins, Semiramis believed that if she could convince the world that her unborn son was the one who would indeed save the world, she might still retain all of her power. All right. So in desperate need for her to stay in power, she said, since her husbands were dead, or since her husbands were done away with, and she was left by herself, for her not to want to lose power, that child that was that child that was belonging to Nimrod, all right, she said that it was given to her by the Most High. All right. So it says she might still retain all of her power. With her unborn child was the promised seed, the one destined to crush the serpent's head, able to remove the curse of sin and death which began in the garden. This would particularly launch him into a godlike state in his own right. Her unborn child, according to Semiramis, would become just that, none other than Nimrod reborn. All right. And then his name was Tammuz, which Tammuz, which was said to be the reincarnation of Nimrod. All right. So we go into Nimrod in Semiramis. And it says down here, Easter, Ishtar, Easter, warriors of the Rawak. So Semiramis, Easter, Isis, Ishtar, and her son husband, Nimrod, Tammuz, Horus, Osiris, etc., is always seen on Christmas cards and Catholic imagery. All right? So Tammuz is really Nimrod, according to her. And Horus is Tammuz, and Osiris is also Tammuz. And Semiramis is actually Easter, which is a pagan goddess of fertility. Semiramis is also Isis and Ishtar. All right? So we go into the name, into who Semiramis was. And it says, I'm going to begin right here. This is in Wikipedia. It says Shemaramat, which means created by Semiramis. All right. So it says right here, Slovakia. It says Shamuramat would have thus been briefly in control of vast Neo-Assyrian Empire from 911 to 605 BC, which stretched from the Caucasus Mountains, which we know that the Caucasus Mountains is where Esau dwelt, all right? And now Esau is over the whole world, currently, still pushing that doctrine from ancient Babylon, all right? But Esau was born red and hairy like a garment, all right? And we know that Jacob was dark-skinned, all right? Because pale skin cannot make dark skin. So it says, which stretched from the Caucasus Mountains in the north to the Arabian Peninsula in the south, and western Iran in the east to Cyprus in the west. All right, so this religion was very popular, man. It was, it was everywhere. All right, so to speak. It was a very large population of people that believed in what she was saying. They believed that, the Messiah was this Tammuz. They believed that he was the Messiah to come, which really is speaking about Yahweh Shai, which wasn't born, but about 2,000 years ago, around there. All right, but it says over here, when you go into Horus in the Wikipedia, in early Egypt, Horus was the brother of Isis, Osiris, Set, and Nephthys. As different cults formed, he became the son of Isis and Osiris. Isis remained the sister of Osiris, Set, and Nephthys. All right, so it says that Isis remained the sister of Osiris. All right, but really what it's speaking about is Isis, which was Semiramis, was the mother of Osiris, which is Nimrod. All right, and then they got together, which is against the law, all right, of the Most High. And they had Horus, which also is Tammuz, which also is supposedly Osiris. All right. And then up here, and it says the parents of Horus, which are Osiris and Isis, like we read in the ancient Babylonian. All right, seeing that, and that's where that Christianity doctrine comes from, when they say that the Messiah was born with no seed of man, but through the seed of woman, which women cannot have seed. All right, it says so in the scriptures. It's always through the seed of man, which means sperm, all right, which we know that men possess. Women are just the vessels, all right? So we go to Serapis, all right? This brings us to Serapis Christos, which was an ancient Greek pagan god, all right? It says, let's see. All right, right here. It says, Actually, yeah, let me go back up. It's in Wikipedia Serapis, and it explains who Serapis is. All right, so I'm going to read right here. It says the Greeks had little respect for animal-headed figures, and so Greek-style anthropomorphic anthropomorphic statue was chosen as the idol. All right, and we know that we're not supposed to be worshiping idols either, and proclaimed as the equivalent of the highly popular Apis. All right, so it says it was named Userapi, which means Osiris Apis. All right, so Serapis Christus is really Osiris Apis. All right, so it says, which became Greek Serapis and was said to be Osiris in full. All right, so going back to Horus,